Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we're once again back in my 2026 reading journal to set up another 2 pages. This time round we're looking at 2 very different pages, so it's going to be fun to kind of set them up with you today. I am feeling like this journal is never coming to a close on its setup. There have been a lot of pages, as you can see as we do the flip through, being set up in this initial part of my main 2026 reading journal. And today we're going to be focusing on a TBR Takedown and my yearly readathons. So every year I try to have some sort of challenge where I am looking at my TBR, whether that be through something like 25 books in 2025 or something like a certain amount of books that I take off my bookshelves, something like that. And so that is kind of what we're looking at for a TBR Takedown. I would really like to focus on getting my Kindle looked at. TBR Takedown for 2025 was named this, but I think I called it Kindle Takedown. Essentially, I wanted to clear out my Kindle and have a whole lot less of the books that I have accumulated from Stuff Your Kindle days on there and actually read them or decide that they're not for me and delete them. And so it would be really cool if I could do that in 2026. So the idea of setting up this page was mostly for that, but then I might also add in some physical books that I know that I've been meaning to get to and I haven't gotten to yet. So I'm still in 2 minds about how I want to use this page. Let me know what you would do, if you would be focusing on your Kindle or if you would be focusing on physical books. I actually just did my annual check-in with my TBR through the digital tracking that I do. I got out my little scanner, felt like a little librarian scanning all the books on my physical shelves into a Libib. Well, I think that's how you say it, which is a digital library app, and I absolutely love that. I will link it in the description below. You can get it for Android, I think iPhone as well, and of course it's a website, so you can just use it online like I do. I just attach my scanner to my laptop and open up the document for a new collection and then make a new collection and then add books to it. So it's a really good time. It did take me a little bit, but I found out that I only had a very small amount of books unread on my shelves. I've been very ruthless over 2025 and reading physical books that I own or reading from the library first to figure out if I should buy a book because I have wasted a lot of money on buying books that I haven't enjoyed. So I am definitely seeing the fruit of that labor, and I only have like 26 books out of all the books on my shelf that I haven't read. I think that might be a little bit of an undercut of the number. Maybe it's like 36, but still that's really good, I think. Anyway, so either way, I will use this page for decreasing my physical TBR or my Kindle TBR, and I asked the question of which one would you focus on. I do have space for 15 books on this page here. So after the decoration went on, I figured out how much space I had. I used the dimensions of my typical book cover size and that I use on my reading logs every month. And I had the intention of using my little star rating stickers here as I am moving away from using the star stamp that I've been using for the whole year. And moving that pack along to someone else who would use it much more than I. I only used the 5-star stamp from that one pack. So yeah, I think it's time for those stamp sets to find a new home, and I will just use sticker paper instead. So here I am just mapping out how many books I can fit on. I didn't even know at this point how many I could, and it ends up being 15, I believe. So that will be a good amount of books to add to one of these challenges, because this year I did 12 friends, 12 books and failed miserably. So I would like to have a challenge that I know that is more so catered towards me and that I can get it done. So that is what is going to happen on this page here, and we're almost done with setting it up. It's just a whole bunch of boxes that need to go down, and then a whole bunch of those stickers that I showed just before, making sure that they fit. So that is my focus for this challenge for this year. And then on the other side, we'll talk about that when we get there, but it is going to be for yearly readathons. If you can see the little green post-it note that I had on the page off to the right hand side there, it says what those 2 pages were. Now, full transparency, I did end up after this setup having a journal afternoon with my best friend. We sat at our dining table and just journaled away, and I got another 2 pages done, and I didn't film it. And I must admit, it was quite freeing to not have to worry about camera angles and where my head was, and just sitting down and cracking on with my journal setup. So there will be a final flip through, or the usual flip through that I always do at the start of every new year for those who don't want to sit here and watch the setups and just want to have a look at the finished product. That will be happening for both journals. And I've also started working on my reading data journal. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I just remembered the other one that I mentioned. Did I mention it? I had to do the voiceover for this a couple of times. And in one of them, I did mention that I have another setup after that I did try to film, but I'm not sure if I have all the footage. So do bear with me if that doesn't get shown. Essentially, I have added in a books read list, and I've set aside 125. I think I did more than 125 books, but 125 spaces, because that's my goal for the year, so I can track down all the books that I read over 2026 just really quickly with the author, the month I finished, and the star rating. I see a lot of people do this, and I actually was wanting to do it earlier in the book. However, I decided I didn't have enough paper. And then once I got to this point in my journal and calculated how many pages I would be using, I actually went back in and decided I could fit it in. So that has been added to this journal. And now all the initial setup pages for the front of this journal are all done. Over December, my goal for this journal will be to set up January. And then after that, we'll do a flip through video at some point. However, I do need to finish the reading data journal. That's going really well as well. I haven't filmed a lot of that as well. I know it feels a little bit, I feel guilty because everything's content, right? And I wanted to share that with you all. I wanted to share the entire process. This is the first time ever in the whole time that I've been doing a reading journal that I've actually shared this setup stuff with my main journal, because I normally just take the time to do it off camera and then do a flip through every year. Last year I did show you how I set up my initial pages in my reading data journal, which was fun. And then obviously this year we've done this journal, which, like I mentioned, I've never done before in one of these sessions. So it has been a lot more work than I'm used to. And so I admit that I think I got a little bit burnt out from filming everything and worrying about how everything looked. We all know that I am not the most aesthetic person when it comes to setting up these videos so they look like, you know, there's a warm candle and everything's neat. I am chaotic. When I'm creating, I'm not going to worry about where I put things down after I've used them. I just want to get the creative side of me out onto the paper and get the job done. And I'm not throwing shade at anyone who does enjoy having those curated setups, because they're absolutely beautiful and I love watching them, but I know myself and I know that's not me. And so where was I going with saying all this? Basically, it's been nice to not have to then also worry about the camera. And I have really enjoyed just taking it slow and figuring out how I want things to go. So I will, again, that will be in a flip through. I will be sharing some of that though, because I now have basically the idea of what I wanted to try first, and I feel confident to now bring the camera out. So we'll see some of that set up as well, just not all of it. Anyway, what we're doing right now is the readathon side. So you can see that I'm playing around with some decorative paper. This is the first 2 pieces of decorative paper that I put in this journal at the very start on the cover page. And so, of course, I knew they went well together and I decided to bring them back for this. And I wanted to separate the readathons up into their own little segments. And I am really happy with how this page came together. So I have 3 main readathons that last the entire year that I participate in almost every single year. And I'm really hopeful that one of them is coming back. It's normally a staple every year, so I'm not too concerned. But the other 2 have already got their prompts up on Storygraph, so I can confidently say that they're going to be there. So I participate in the easy reading challenge. I really like this. It's just 12 prompts, and I have been working my way through them this year and actually struggled with some of them. Next year's prompts seem really, well, to be quite cliche, easy, and I'm looking forward to tackling this challenge next year. And then the other one that I know for sure that is coming back is A Year of Goober, which is run by some of my friends. They are a book club as well, called Goobers Who Read. And again, that will be on the Storygraph, and I will link it all below for you if you want to join in. They do have a Discord as well. It is a really good time. And this is the one readathon that I know I can participate for that book club. I've really struggled to keep up with the monthly book club reads, but this one I can do, and I always feel like I'm contributing well to it. So I'm really looking forward to it because it has always got 2 different options per month, and I like to do the hard mode and try and do both options. So I always find that really fun. And the theme is really cute for 2026. There is a ghost called Goober, and each year there's something that Goober wants to learn. And for 2026, Goober wants to learn how to bake so it can open a micro bakery. I don't know too much more than that, and I think the video that will be coming about that will be soon. So I will link the YouTube channel as well for Goobers Who Read below, or Jashi Corin is one of the main hosts, so it'll also end up on her YouTube channel. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. I always find it cozy and cute, and that's what I'm all about. So looking forward to tackling all 24 of those prompts. This one here is for the buzzword readathon. I've done it for the last 2 years, so I'm hopeful that there'll be one this year. I've already set up for it. And unfortunately, I was running low on spare white dotted grid paper that I'd ripped out of previous journals. This piece of paper, when I was setting it up, the lights were so bright I could not see that it was the piece of paper that I accidentally used. Well, it wasn't accidentally. We had a ginormous moth in our house, and I'm not scared of bugs that much, but my sister is petrified, and I knew if she'd seen the moth in the house, she would absolutely flip. So when it came back down to me in the office, I quickly grabbed a jar and slid this piece of paper under it and then coaxed it outside. So this paper has some bends in it, and it's very obvious when I'm looking at it in person, but once the handwriting is on there, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. I won't have enough room to write down the books for this side though. That's the only issue for that, but I'm not too upset about it because I tend to use Storygraph and that for showing what I read for that. So I'm never too bothered about making sure I have a space in my journal to jot down those book titles because I already know I have a space digitally, and that's satisfactory enough for me. However, I do have enough space on all these little cutouts to write down the prompt. So that's what I have done, and I have done it off camera. I was planning to do it in this video, but for some reason ended up turning off the camera and focusing on it instead. So these are all done. Again, you will see them in the flip through. And then there was a little bit of space down the bottom for another readathon or a space to just jot down things. And so I've left that blank, but I've put it on the page. You'll see it soon. And I think I might use that for like tracking for the TBR Takedown, like what was the first book that I finished, maybe what was the last one that I finished, best rating, that kind of thing. You guys know that I love stats, and I really, really liked having that space on the A to Z challenge where I could write down where I'm going to do like the first letter I finished, the hardest letter, and new authors to me, because I'm doing it for authors this year. So, or should I say next year? So I really wanted to have space for that. And so I think that's what I will probably end up using that box for, but who knows, there might be something else I want to track. I am being extremely mindful because I always try to do a year of 𝓷𝓷𝓫 because I can't participate in the monthly readathons for that because I never end up keeping up with it. So unfortunately, I never keep up with the year-long one either. So I've decided to scrap that readathon and just keep it to these 3. I think that would be the best idea. I don't want to overwhelm myself with readathons that go for the whole year, as well as the monthly readathons that I take part in, because obviously I really do enjoy doing those, and having something to track for my reading each month is fun. So I don't want to take away from that by having so many different readathons that I'm doing all year long as well. So this page is almost done. And I'm really excited for you guys to see it. I think it turned out really cute with the little bits of decorative paper. It's a really cute nod to the first page in this journal. I really wanted to keep everything quite cohesive with this theme, and I know that it hasn't always gone as well as I thought it would. And sometimes I have been playing the comparison game from my setup to other people's that I have been enjoying so far. But I know this is very unique. It's definitely my own, and I'm happy with that. And so it's nice to have these little nods that I can see back to, where we started. And also with the reading data journal, I knew I had to use this paper pad in there as well. So 2026 will be cohesive in both journals, which wasn't the case in 2025. I had an academia theme for 2025 in there. And this next year I will have these colors. So I'm really excited to just have one overall arching color palette and all that going on in my journals, because it is a little bit I wouldn't say it's hard, but there are a lot of supplies that I have to keep out all the time for both journals to make sure that they match and stuff. So having them all have the same colors scheme makes sense to me. So this page is almost done. You know what's going to come next if you've been watching these videos, and that is sparkle. And this time I didn't smudge anything like I did on the last page setup, so that is a win. I'm really happy with that, but it was also missing something down here where Readathons left a bright gap. So I did end up using this butterfly sticker here because the theme has leaned heavily into these purple butterflies that came with the Dreamland Park Lane paper pad. It's such a mouthful. It almost sounds like I'm trying to say Parkland instead of Park Lane at times. But yeah, I just filled it up with this butterfly sticker. I didn't have any more purple ones left, so that will have to do. And now to add the sparkles with the 2 pens that I've been using for them all throughout all the setup, and then we're done. So thank you so much for spending some time with me on this setup, and I hope that you understand why there won't be all the videos of the setup since I took some time away from it, but I will be back with some more, and I'm hopeful that I can fit in a few end of year videos. I have some ideas, but my chronic fatigue has taken a nosedive, and I am finding it a little bit challenging to keep up with everything. So until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading or journaling, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye everyone.